So we want to be able to differentiate these bodies from each other, and the easiest way to do that was with the appearance. So I'm going to right click on the body and then click on appearance. And then I just need to pick something that I can download. So I'm going to pick paint. I'm going to pick green. Let's see if it'll let me download that. So now that's in my drawing, and I should be able to drag that onto body 1 and it becomes green. Let's say I want body 2 to be red. I'm going to download that, and then I'm going to drag that onto body 2. And so now I have a red and a green cube. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold down the scroll wheel, and you're going to extrude some more sides. So I'm going to extrude this by 1 inch, and I don't want to join, I want to make a new body. You're going to, cancel. I'm going to extrude this by 1 inch, and I want to make a new body. What happened on that previous one is it thought I was selecting 2 faces. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to extrude by 1 inch, and I'm going to make a new body and hit OK. And now I want to orbit to the back, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to extrude this by 1 inch, make a new body. I'm going to cancel again. So if I do that and I've selected multiple faces, I can actually get rid of it here and until that's just the face that I wanted as a new body. I'm going to extrude that by 1 inch, and again I want a new body, and I'm going to click back here, again extrude by 1 inch, and that is going to again be a new body. And then I'm going to zoom out, kind of move around a little bit so you can get back here. However you can orient to it, you get much quicker at this as you go. And extrude that by 1 inch. And again, new body. So I should have 8 bodies over here, which I do. And so what I want to do now is give them some different appearances. So I'm going to click appearance, and maybe this one is yellow. So I'll drag that to body 3. I'll hit close, and I can see that now that's yellow. Let's look at this one. So this one I'm going to give an appearance. You can pick whatever you want. So maybe you don't want it to be paint. Maybe we want some metallic paint. So I'll put, let's see, what does metallic red look like? So I can drag that to that one. Now it looks very similar here in terms of whether, but we'll see where it can look different in just a moment. Let me pick something really different. Let's pick fabric. So I'll pick like a blue fabric, and I'm going to drag that to that one. You can see if I drag it to the body, it'll highlight that body. I can do that. Let's pick some green fabric. I can bring it to that one. Let's pick something really different. Let's pick maybe concrete. I'll bring some concrete in. And as we're bringing these in, we're just bringing them in for appearances, but they would bring in some physical characteristics with them as well. All right, and then we have, let's see, maybe what liquid do we have? We have water, so let's do swimming. Let's do this clear water. Let's see what that one looks like. All right, so you can see that made it a little bit transparent. So I've made a cube. There's 8 of them. And so what I want to be able to do now is to look at this. So this is still in my workspace. We want to save this. It's going to prompt us to have a checkpoint or a milestone. We can add that if we want to. We can get back to those down the road. And you'll see down here in my timeline, I have all of those extrusions have shown up if I need to go back and edit them. All right, so I have made my shape, right? I know kind of how to orient about it. And so what I want to do now is create a drawing. So we have some options here. If we look at our design and we click on that, we see we have these other options. I'm actually going to take a shortcut for a second and show you this render piece. So render makes like a very high quality image of our drawing. We can see there's like a reflection in there. There's a light source. We can move things around. But if I was to just do a render, so let's see, I'll do an in-canvas render, and it's going to take a minute. It's going to start to build a really high quality image with that, and that's where we'll start to see the difference in the fabric. I can see now the difference in the metal flake versus regular paint, and we have the option to save this if we want. Now, one of the things that's different with this is we can't really build from this. This would be a good representation of what our cube could look like, but we can't dimension it. We can't actually show what the dimensions would be or different viewpoints on it. We just have this one viewpoint. So I'm actually going to kick out a render here, and I'm going to go to drawing. So we're going to go to drawing from design. We need to tell it the size of paper to make our drawing on. So you can see down here, size B is 11 by 17. I'm going to go size A because that is our standard 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and I'm going to hit OK. So it's going to open up a whole new menu here from our drawing. And we can always go back to our design if we want to. But what it'll do is it'll give us a sheet. So I can see that I have, this is my design. I'm just going to click somewhere, and it's giving me a couple things. It's giving me a scale. So for mine, maybe I can do a 1:1, so that would be the real size. And it's giving me the view that we want. So I'm just going to pick a isometric view so that we can look at it on an angle. And I'm going to hit OK. Now, we can always go back and edit this. Now I get this one, I'm going to click this and delete it. I don't need that there. I can move it around. Now it doesn't really look like my shape because it has these hidden lines in it. So you can change the look of it. So this is visible edges. This is these hidden lines. This is what it would look like shaded. All right? And this is shaded with hidden lines. So if we're trying to get something that's color coded, we can click shaded, and I'm going to hit close. Now, what I can do here is I can start to pull off what different projections would look like. So if I was to click here and click on my shape and go to the side, I can see that it's going to get these different projections. Now, it's a little bit strange because it's at an angle. So let's do this differently. Let's get rid of, we can undo here, all those projections. And I'm going to give this a standard view. So I'm just going to say this is, instead of northeast projection, I'm going to say it's a top. I'm going to hit close. So that's the top of my cube, and I can do the same thing. I can now click here, and you can see I come to the side. The side is different, and I can pull at an angle, and I can get all of these views really easily. All right, now hit escape. Now I can see it's a little cluttered. It's not quite fitting. If I double click on here and I go back to 1 to 2 and make it a little bit smaller, let's see what that does. Everything adjusts. And so I very quickly made a plan set that I can look at. And I can even add dimensions to that. So you see up here, I have this option to do dimensions. There's lots of different types of dimensions. I'm just going to click linear. And I can zoom in. And let's say I want it here, it's going to highlight that corner to that corner. That's 2 inches. This to this is 1 inch, right? Now it's not going to let me do these very easily off of my projected view. So if I look at that isometric view, right, we know that these are 1 by 1. It's not 0.7, so we got to be a little bit careful when things are at a 3D view. But very easily we can start to pull our dimensions. Let's go back to my dimension. That's also 2. I could start to give enough information here for whatever I need to pull across from to dimension my whole drawing. When I'm ready, and I have something that I feel like I'm ready to export, we need to first off know that this drawing, it needs to be saved differently than our design. Our design still lives back here. I'm going to go back to design. There's our design. Here is our drawing. So I'm going to save this as tutorial number 1 drawing. That's fine. It's going to pop up over here on the data panel. And I can then, if I need to get that to somebody, I can export that as a PDF. So I basically export that as a PDF, call it whatever I want. I'm going to save it. And then when I open that up, right, I'll have that PDF that I can then view. Now, and it's a dynamic link. Let's say that we go back here and I change body. Let's see, which one is this? All right. I change this appearance. So maybe it is plastic. So I'm going to say that it is whatever this is. All right, so I'm going to pull that over. So let's change what that looks like. Right? Let me get something a little bit more extreme. We'll make it wood. So we'll make it oak. So I'll make that body oak. Okay. So once I save this, right, it's been updated. I hit OK. When I go back to my drawing, I can see that it hasn't changed here. But I now have this little link icon. This reference needs to be updated. So once I click on this reference, it's going to update all of those drawings for me where it's relative. So I can see that that wood part showed up in all of those. So it's a really powerful way to make our designs, make them flexible, be able to export them, make them very specific. And we'll add some more functionality as we move forward down the road.